Speech is about my junior prom, and it is called A Night to Remember. It was that time of the year. The snow was completely melted, the tulips were starting to grow. Spring was here, and all the junior boys in my class were starting to ask their crush to prom. All the girls were getting excited, guessing who would ask whom, pondering the perfect prom dress, hoping they would become prom queen. It was a Monday morning, and I was dreading going to school. The week had just begun, and I wanted nothing more than for it to be over, so prom would be just a little bit closer. I walked into school wishing I was still snuggled up in my comfy bed. As I got to my locker, I found a bouquet of flowers. At first, I thought someone had mistaken my locker for someone else's. Me getting roses? I had no idea who they could be from. As I was opening the card, someone came from behind me and covered my eyes. I was startled and now even more confused. The next thing I heard was someone asking me to be their date to prom. As soon as I heard his little chuckle while waiting for my response, I knew it was Chris. Of course I said yes. He was a perfect date. A couple weekends later, I went to Chicago with my mother and sisters to find the perfect dress. I had my own idea in my head how it would look. I knew I wanted something sleek, but poofy was just too much for me. I also knew I didn't want green. As we entered each store, we made a beeline to the formal attire section. We grabbed dress after dress and brought them to the fitting room. There was so many outstanding ones: strapless, short sleeve, minis, floor length, and even some with trains. I tried on dress after dress and waited for my family's approval or disapproval. Unbeknownst to me, my mom slipped in a green dress. As soon as I tried it on, I surprisingly fell in love with it. It was a light limeish green with tons of beadwork. It fit me perfectly. I knew right then and there this was the dress. The biggest dance in our 4 years of high school finally arrived. The school fashion show of our peers modeling in gorgeous designer dresses, the pep rally, and the excitement. I couldn't have been any more geek for this day to finally have arrived. My best friend and her date joined Chris and I for an amazing dinner before the dance. After dinner, we headed straight to the dance. When we got there, everything was set up perfectly. Great music and beautiful decorations to fit in the theme of the masquerade ball. I kept getting compliment after compliment on my green dress. I think I had the most beautiful dress by far. We all had a great time dancing and enjoying each other as one class. After the dance, there was a post-prom party at the bowling alley. As the four of us pulled into the parking lot, Chris saw a friend who came up to the window to talk. As they were talking and we got our stuff together to go in, a police officer came over. He said to us we either had to leave the premises or we needed to go inside. My best friend Jordan's date, Wally, said, "Okay, officer," in a polite manner. As the officer started to walk away, he paused and he stated that he smelled marijuana, and he began to walk back towards the car. We all sat there confused. Weed? We surely weren't smoking. "There is no weed in the car, officer," Wally said. The officer snapped his head at him and said, "Are you telling me my sniffer's bad?" He told me to get out of the driver's seat. It was freezing outside. To top it off, raining. My hair was getting soaked after I had it done for my big prom night. I was standing there shivering while the officer kept drilling me. He kept pressing me, trying to get me to say something. He threatened to take me to detox for being under the influence. I was terrified. I wasn't that kind of girl he was making me out to be. 3 more officers arrived. They had my car surrounded and demanded everyone to get out. They searched my car without even asking permission. I was humiliated as fellow students stared as they passed by. What would people think of me? I thought. Would they think I was a druggie or some kind of criminal? Hours went by as the 4 of us stood outside of the bowling alley freezing in the rain while they tore through my car. They checked under the seats, all the storage areas and cup holders. They rifled through the contents of my glove box, scattering auto maintenance receipts and maps everywhere. Meanwhile, all our classmates were bowling, eating snacks, and having a great time. After they searched everything and didn't find anything, they had me call my mom to come get us because I was under the influence. We didn't even get an opportunity to step inside to the post party when we were just feet away. What should have been one of the best and most memorable events of one's high school years very quickly turned into the worst. As I stood there shivering in the cold rain, the tears streaming down my face, my eyeliner running down my cheek in little rivulets, my classmates walked by talking and laughing on their way into the after party. While all the classmates were enjoying the final hours of prom night, I was released into my mother's custody. We rode home together in silence as I tried to stifle my tears.